Okay, now it's ready. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. So today I'm going to tell about something about Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things and how this works and what are the major implications nowadays we are facing on Internet of Things and how do we can overcome to get more secure in terms of Internet of Things. This one is the brief thing I'm going to explain today. The major points are 5 to 6 here. The first one is what is Internet of Things, and we cover some element of IoT in this, and we know why IoT is very important nowadays, and this covers some evolution, future, and growth of the IoT, and some what are the significant security risks and privacy concerns in IoT, and in this we will cover some current risks and the future risks pertaining to the IoT. The next point is that the major factors that constrain the IoT and maybe some challenges we'll figure out, and then we will go for how can we improve the growth of IoT by preventing some security concerns and some risk visitation. So that's the whole thing today. So coming to Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things actually? It is nothing but Internet of Things refers to briefly network of uniquely identifiable physical objects, so accessible through the internet, and contain some embedded technologies that allow them to interact to connect interconnect I mean to internet through their local network, and from the local network it will connect to the internet. Maybe nowadays it will be like some third party servers, or maybe most of the things nowadays is cloud services. So that is the thing. To be briefly, to be practically, Internet of Things is a physical object. So maybe a sensor, an actuator, which transmits data to its local network, and from that, the data from the local network will be transferred to the cloud services, and then to the in some kind of infrastructure or some kind of data analysis go through that, and maybe some they can have some governance and these kind of things. So that's how IoT works here. So this is a brief picturization example of how this works. Every sensor or any actuator sends the data to the local network, and at last all things are interconnected and everything is connected to the cloud. So let's go to the elements of IoT, the major elements we find in IoT. So coming from very physical object of IoT, this may be a sensor and actuator. So these sensors, these are the embeddable devices which is programmable. So these embeddable devices are physically which has physical environment, and this will capture some events. Events in the sense from events we will generate the data. So actuators, these execute a physical change of transmits data to their local network, or to whatever the Wi-Fi or whatever the local network is, and the data is a structure, or it's a kind of, it's not actually a structure, maybe it's a kind of semi-structure or not structured even. So data may be condensed of different formats, and this data is collected from the sensors and actuators, and this data will be transferred to all networks. Coming to the network is IP enabled, and it may be a WAN or wireless or fixed thing, and this creates a backbone for any ecosystem or any IoT system, which connects the actuators or sensors and transmits the data to the cloud or any service platforms. So the higher version of this one is a service platform. This is a services which store information provided by the local area network, and it has some business analytics and some intelligent software which can filter some data, or which can run some business intelligence or business logic from the data, and stores at last into the manage the data, and goes, and next step is goes for the data analysis kind of thing, and provide some services. And next one is the infrastructure. This one is interconnected to the all cloud services, so provides an ecosystem of management and servers to the business, so which aggregates the data, some platform intelligence analysis and reporting, and action based. So nowadays we can see many IoT devices which are connected to the cloud services. These cloud services provide some infrastructure governance, which is capable of aggregates the data and perform some business intelligence, and do some reporting stuff. And the major part of the major evolution today of this infrastructure is action-based frameworks. So it identifies the actions it identifies, it triggers the actions based on the data. So for real world example, so these are the kind of, I mean, okay. So for example, in this, for the sake of example, today in real world, take some home security. So all these devices sends the data to the cloud services. So cloud services which can actually run some business logic and make some actions based on the data. So that's an example. Okay, these are the IoT, devices, IoT devices, which are the major domains nowadays. So this IoT is widely spread to throughout in the industry today. So these have some automation. The major is healthcare and smart homes, which is a vast development in the IoT today, and some lifestyle and some consumer things and building infrastructure, and the one more thing is security services. But the most important things in these three is smart homes, healthcare, and industry automation and security. So this is a kind of some evolution of IoT, which comes from years. So the olden days, what we have, so IoT is kind of some kind of barcodes or RFID devices which can read the data and transmit to the any network or service providers. So the middle generation of this is partially sensor networks, which will sense some data, and which the data will be transmitted and have some reporting things based on that, some kind of controlling micro applications devices using smartphones like that, and some kind of temperature and humidity devices, these things and all. And coming to the third, which is the vast improvement of the next generation of IoT, so which can these objects have like ability to independently judge or sense context and autonomously interact and with other devices and and manage the other devices. For example, these things are today is traffic management system, in which this traffic device, I mean traffic signals will be captured and automatically the data will be transmitted to the local governance, and from that it manages the rerouting, these things and all. So this evolution of the has capability of governing and deriving the new rules, and make some actions based on the data. These are the major evolutions today in the IoT. And this is the kind of growth of IoT from past 2009 to be and the expected growth up to 2012, I mean 2020. So it starts with around 1 billion in 2009, but nowadays it is like up to 15 billion. But then in the next 5 years, by 2020, this will be up to 50 billion devices are expected to be connected to internet by year 2020. So this is a vast growth, and this doesn't include any tablets, PCs, or smartphones. This only includes any physical devices with is major of some home security devices and industrial automation and security services. So this is the future state of IoT space, in fact. So this will be majorly impact the consumer services and lifestyles and enterprises and some business applications. So consumers will accept a consistent and contextual way to control their products. I mean, coming to a home security service, home security and some security services, some home-based appliances, this kind of thing, and even enterprise. We're involving their enterprise showing the very interest in the IoT infrastructure, so some kind of industrial automation, this kind of thing. So these are the things that we will expect in the future IoT space. Some driverless cars, for example, Tesla autonomous car, so which drives on its own based on the, I mean, generating their own rules and generating its own actions based on the data it got and it processed. And this and healthcare management fitness. Okay, coming to healthcare, we can see some some major applications healthcare evolved nowadays, like remote care kind of thing, where the person is started with some of the electronic devices, and it sends the data, I mean any BP or sugar levels of the data, and transmits to the secure layer, and to the cloud service, where where directly it can reflect the electronic health record of the particular patient, and automatically a mail notification will be sent to the particular doctors saying that he's monitoring all the records every day by day. So it's this kind of applications we are already there in the market right now. and some integrated building technology. This one is interesting thing. And home automation. This is a very vast area, and now United States have every it's growing very rapidly. So by 2020, it is expected to be like around 10 billions of IoT devices will found in only in home automation. So even in some parts of China and India, and particularly in some United States, where the home appliances or home automation is very interesting thing. So user can control their home appliances using the smartphone apps like that. So how it works is, there will be a bunch of sensors in every living room or kind of thing. So where data will be transmitted automatically to the secure servers, and you can access those apps. You can start, or you can turn off the light even with your app. So this kind of services we already hear, and this is growing very rapidly. So to make this home automation completely by 100%. And okay, coming to the risk in the, we talked about the growth and evolution of IoT, but IoT even has a major risk nowadays. We can see the software vulnerabilities or software attacks are very vast in the web applications, or I mean in the internet. But we didn't see that much cyber attacks in the IoT devices coming to the IoT. But we saw some security breaches in past 5 years, but it's not it's not that much compared to the internet. I mean, connect to the, I mean, like to the www. So because of this, hackers are not showing that much interest in the IoT devices. But considering about the future and current growth of IoT, we have some major security implications in IoT even. So these are the current risks we have in this thing. So that is privacy and personal information. Authentication and authorization is an important thing, and the encryption and the software firmwares or firewalls, which we don't have that in IoT devices. So these are the current risks we have in the IoT. So does the IoT need security? Do really the IoT need security? Yes. So coming to smartphones, we have some many vast applications or apps in our mobile phones. So many malicious applications may collect your private data, photos, messages, some your location, all these things. So this is a possibility. We can get our data hacked, or send unsecured to the send to the unsecure servers like that. And even we have some major implication, and we have major security vulnerables in the healthcare industry. Even some kind of pacemakers, these things are these devices are already already connected to the IoT device, to the internet. And even smart kitchen appliances and some laundry equipment, we saw it. So coming to smart kitchen appliances, nowadays we can see a refrigerator is a smart, is already came, like we can control our refrigerator using our apps, or we can see the any digital displays and touch screens. These things are in the refrigerators. These are smart kitchen appliances. And coming to the home security entertainment system, so we have a big news from Samsung, saying that by 2020 all the Samsung products, they are making it as an IoT. So we cannot we never know what we are watching. So as we have security cameras with every television in our homes, so we never know what we are going to deal with that. So we can everyone can see our living rooms, these things from our security cams in the TV even. So we can hack that. So hackers may control over your records, so they can see what you are doing, these things and all. Even refrigerators has been used to send some malicious emails and notifications to your apps. So uh, coming to the layers of an IoT, or architecture of IoT. So this is the IoT as a physical device, a sensor and actuator, which sends the data to the local network, and thus from that will data obviously transmitted to the internet backbone, maybe say some cloud services. So this is the physical security we need to concern about, and these are the applications. There are two levels of security in the IoT. So one is physical security, and one more is the network security, which consists of your local network and the obviously, I mean, ultimately to the cloud security. So this is a possible hacker attack model we got here. So every device that transmits data from IoT device to the local network. So where the attacker tries to control or manipulate our data through this this process from the data from IoT device to the local network. So this is how it works. So IoT device initially serves some some request some messages to the local network, and this how it is got hacked to the attacker. So we can get some, but this IoT device doesn't have any security firewalls or kind of thing, or security encryptions, or secure handshaking between the IoT and the local area network. So the data will be easily hacked. So in coming to in any except the IoT, otherwise coming to internet, we have some secure firewalls, the PCs, and we can have some authentication or encryption technologies. But this IoT device in current industry doesn't have like the secure firewalls or secure gateways to send the data to the local network securely. And coming to the net, this one is pertaining to the local area net security layer data up to local area network, and from that local area network, the data will be sent to some cloud services or third-party services, which security of the cloud service is a major implication. Nowadays, the Amazon Web Services provides a major security things using IAM credentials, but major security clouds they are still lacking in the very security concerns. Maybe some kind of maintain cheaper things securities, and some kind of cryptography things and these kind of things. So this is how it works. So there are two parts of security risk we found in this exactly. So the physical layer, the physical attacks, the physical layer, it's at the device level, and the cloud security, and the local area network security. So these are the future risks in the growth of IoT we found, maybe by next 5 years. So this is major consist of privacy and the data storage and data sharing and hacking and tampering. So privacy is always an issue now, and today, and even by next 5 years. But the data storage is a huge complication. So the data generated from the sensors or actuators will be an unstructured or semi-structured or not structured, and this one is a huge data and some kind of thing. For example, say traffic governance or traffic infrastructure. So the data that every day will be generated huge in terms of gigabytes, some kind of thing. So data storage and data processing is a major challenge. So the right way to filter the data, right way to apply the business logics is a major thing. And how data is secured, how the data is transmitted across devices will require some secure controls. So this will be other security implication like data sharing. So we need to implement some secure protocols which will be supported by IoT devices. Should be some kind of interoperability between the IoT device and the local area network or the network what you are using. So these are the future risks we need to concern about. Suppose we have some examples or use cases where we have some major security vulnerabilities we observed in past 5 years. It's some we all know about the autonomous cars. So these cars have the current capabilities of to provide real-time status information and ability to remotely control the car. And the vulnerabilities we can see here is hackers can have demonstrated the ability. Hackers already demonstrated the ability to gain the access to the cars. We have the particular examples, some security breaches in Jeep Cherokees and other Google autonomous cars or Tesla autonomous cars. We have major security implications in that. So for, one more example is home security appliances. We already have a major security breach in home appliances, home securities in the United States for the past 5 years. We have seen many security breaches in home security appliances or security services. So these are the challenges with IoT. So what we need to concern to future growth of the IoT. So we need standardization across multiple components and protocols. So the protocols and major messaging formats and data models have a major impact in security vulnerabilities. So we need to make sure communication protocols and messaging formats and data models. So before we're going to develop a IoT device. And the standards, even the standards of address security, privacy and governance, safety on the controls, these things had major impact. Okay, so these are the some IoT challenges we see now. But as we have already adopted to the IPv6, so this supports some measures. So the future trend of the IoT is industries are moving to make some secure layer protocols, some secure models and secure data models with IPv6 adopted, and trying to implement some interoperability between the devices and the network and their cloud services. So there are made three things in the IoT security. So the freedom, I mean the privacy and the security and the convenience. These are the major characteristics of an ideal product that any organization need to concern about. So this, as per the reports, this combination of these is unrealistic. But the best model of this enterprise choosing this any of two, like secure or convenience, or freedom or convenience, or security of convenience. That makes us the better product for them. So so how do we overcome these things from the major security implications or security vulnerabilities? So these are the few points we need to develop to make sure the IoT device has not gone through some security vulnerabilities, and make sure that will transmit the data to the any networks very securely using secure protocols to the cloud services. So these points consist of some to develop a legislative policies, standards, and best practices that we already have. So follow some standards proposed. So how to be a secure IoT, I mean secure IoT management kind of thing, and transfer some unsupported vendor software to open source community so that we can get some, we can develop some more standards so to the security vulnerabilities. And so to ensure embedded systems have some remote management interface or finite time, some this is a point where embedded systems nowadays we are using some microprocessors for IoT devices which doesn't have much capabilities, so which have a very low memory. So we don't have any firewalls or any secure protocols followed in any of the IoT device. It's just a kind of sensor which triggers some events and transmits data to the network. So we need to make sure to implement some secure protocols for the data to be transferred from any physical object to the network layer. So these are the some risk mitigation things for enterprises to be develop a secure or complete IoT object. So this consists of some identifying of some the various few scope, and conducting some risk assessments, and determining the development and develop a plan to integrate, make sure it is some implementing some secure protocols and secure standards of that. So developing multi-layer approach to security by building object level security from the bottom up, like SDLCs, multiple test cycles like that, and deploy technologies. This is very major point. Deploy technologies after risks are really fully understood and manageable. So we need every organization need to understand the risk and to practice it before the deployment of the physical, I mean IoT object. This makes very impact on the growth of IoT. And some understand the security capabilities of their business partners and third parties to limit downstream liabilities, and implement some policies and procedures to address shared threats that results from interconnected technologies. And this is the uh, risk mitigation process for the consumers. So we need to have some awareness on how security, how the data will be attacked, and how we should have some awareness on security vulnerabilities, how our devices transmits the data, and how can we secure our devices to make sure that whatever the appliances or our personal data will be transferred into the our particular register services, not to an inappropriate services. These are the steps, something like we have for our consumers to make sure we don't get any security vulnerabilities, or we don't get hacked by any attackers, so our data never had we get hacked. So so we discussed about the major what is an IoT and major evolutions of IoT, and what are the elements that contains in the IoT, and we saw some major security breaches coming to autonomous cars and home appliances and security services kind of thing. And we saw some few I mean the growth of future of IoT, and we saw some elements of IoT, and we saw some security vulnerabilities of IoT, and even we discussed about some challenges of IoT which need to be to be take care well, to make sure the growth of IoT is good or healthy. So we discussed some risk mitigations for our consumers and for the enterprises, to make sure there are no security implications in industry automation or any consumer appliances or lifestyle. So the conclusion is that so we know that security is often a threat to the IoT, not to an IoT, but any any device or any technologies or anything connected to the internet is an easily vulnerable. So security is often a afterthought in the IoT. So many breaches have been reported, as discussed in past 5 years. The security breaches is almost getting double. But hackers, as concerning the growth of IoT, hackers are very much interested, and they are practicing very hard to make some security vulnerabilities or make some attacks in terms of IoT. So we know that how the attacker models, we know that where the IoT lacks in security concerns. So we need to make sure we need to make sure to implement the secure protocols, and we need to make sure to understand the attacker model, and make sure to implement secure models, so that IoT is secure in terms of consumers, in terms of consumer perspective, in terms of business perspective, in terms of organizational perspective. So this is the conclusion. So any questions?
Now?
Yes.
I said no.
Hi, Saman.
Did you have a chance to practice with IoTs in real life? Some project, something?
No, I didn't get chance to practice on IoT in real time, but I observe many security breaches, how the attackers attack the IoT devices. So from coming from the physical attacks, or coming from network attacks, or any cloud security attacks, this kind of thing. But I never get a chance to actually work on real time IoT. But as we said, we practicing this lab experiment 3. That is coming as a kind of category we can observe. We that list in this IoT event.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
No problem. Can you hear me, Dr. Ware?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So you want me to?
Yes, your turn. Share the screen.
Okay.
Make sure to share the full screen, not just application.
Okay, I think I clicked share, and I don't know if it did the full screen. I think it did the full. You can see the full screen?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
So start the presentation in full screen.
Okay. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, good.
Okay. All right. So I did the research on NFC, which is a near field communication. First, when I started, I had a misgiving about it. I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but after a few protocols that I read through, I can clearly, I think, understand what's going on here. So it basically came from radio frequency identification, RFID. So it's not a new technology at all. It just recently became more compatible with all the new cell phones and all the more, like you said, already just now you had you did this presentation, Kalyan. So a lot of this kind of stuff can use NFCs with them as well. Internet of Things, NFC can be part of it too. So basically it's a short range, 2 inches, and has slow data transfer speed. So people would wonder why they would want it. But it has a ton of advantages like low power consumption, and it has good security. And it's effort-free as well, since once you put proper settings one time, the rest it's as easy as clicking a button. What can we do with NFC? There's three big elements to it. It's card emulation, which is like paying and like Google Pay and Apple Pay, all this stuff. There's a read-write, means transfer small amount of information. And peer-to-peer means you communicate with somebody else quickly, like maybe transfer the phone number or anything else. So, and NFC has two modes. Active communication mode, meaning it produces the actual RF radio frequency field. And there's a passive communication mode, means it doesn't produce its own radio frequency mode, but instead uses the device that actually in the active mode, their radio frequency field, by using load modulation. So, and both cases are half duplex communication, meaning that it can go send information both ways, but it has to do once at a time. That's called half duplex. So the NFC, like I said earlier, I had to read two protocols. The general protocol is NFC ECMA 340, which explains all about NFC, how it works, but doesn't address the security part. The security part is explained in ECMA 385, which we needed for our class. So, which stands for Security Service and Protocols. It is updated pretty recently. I mean, like what, 2016, 2015. So it's up to date. All of these terms right here important is in order for us to understand the next diagram in here, which I'm going to be explaining. So NFC secure user just simply is the person who is using the phone. Let's say we're going to use phone. So that's going to be the user. Service access point. Secure connection. I guess I'll explain it later. And PDU stands for protocol data unit, and SDU stands for service data unit. Okay, so here's our two users. Let's say they are both one active, one passive. So NFC secure user, NFC secure user, both use the same protocol. The first step we have is user invokes and accesses the NFC security service through NFC service access point. So here is our secure access point, and the use automatically through the protocol it gets here, and then NFC secure entity generates secure service data unit, which will also be transferred into through the connection into the other secure user. In this packet, when it's going to be transferred, we're going to be later on explained. We're going to end up sending the keys and special number that's going to be later on used for security. Right now, I'm not going to address what the vulnerability is going to be explained later on. So we're just going to write down in this point, understand how it works. So just like with any other protocol, we have user, generate a number, we send it to the next user, he confirm, and we return back. Next step, we now use our packets. The PDU is a protocol data unit, which means some sort of data will be sent by using the encryption from the earlier point. We encrypt the packet, protocol data unit, basically. So that's why you have a secure channel. After you're done setting up this and getting the keys, you basically set up a secure channel. So I'll read out here. This is more explains better. So first, user invokes and accesses the NFC secure service through NFC secure service access point, as I explained earlier, and it's the obtain service data unit, the request, which is sent to the next user, the other, let's say B NFC, whatever, and they send the confirmation back that yes, I received this, and they send their own as well. The confirmation confirm. This means you generated the key just now. Peer security entity send and receive NFC secure PDU, as I said, protocol data units through NFC service. Basically, after the key is set up, as I explained earlier, you can send the packets, very small packets, though it cannot be anything too massive. And last thing is NFC consists of NFC protocol control information and single NFC SDU service data unit. Basically, the packets consist of the secure packets that you send through secure channel consist of protocol control information and service data unit. So this is how we generate the key. It's very straightforward. It's very any other protocol. You have a key, you generate the key agreement, key confirmation on the other part, and then you can use the services. And by using those keys, you can send the protocol data unit securely. After you're done, you terminate the keys, and that's it. And you're done with the whole service. Very quick, doesn't take more than a second for the whole transaction. So key agreement establishes secret using activation request and activation response. As I explained earlier, basically when you start at the beginning, you generate the keys through requests and confirmations. The secure channel service is very, very important for NFC. And later on, I explain you why NFC secure channel is practically impossible to hack into. So, or like hack, I mean like it's invulnerable basically at current point at least. And this is already explained how it's set up earlier. Okay, the important part. This is the keys that are, and each NFC security entity shall maintain its sequence number variable. It's very important because each time you send the packet, there's going to be a sequence number inside that variable. Both of them, let's say this, what should I call them? A is going to be the initiator and B is going to be the guy who accepting stuff. Both of them will have to match the sequence number. And each time you send, the sequence number will be updated by 1. So that way to keep it always like something different. That's it. This is all very straightforward. Basically, it's very similar to other protocols. And this is example of the first packet. We have security exchange protocol parameter. And this is here for the security part. And protocol identifier consists of 8-bit special information of 8 bits. It's only sent one time on when you generate the first key, basically. That's the only time. Later on, the protocol identifier will not be here anymore because you know which protocol you're using. And the payload is going to be the information inside here. So very standard, the datagram, whatever, they basically a packet, how you send it. Next, and there's another one. Besides secure channel, we also have shared secure services, as we saw earlier. After you set up in here, you see you have secure services. After you set up the key, you send information. Both can use secure services as well to send the directly from service to here. So right over here, establish a safe secret by the key agreement and key confirmation mechanism. So this is also set up at the very beginning after the first transaction of the packets. This service, this both of the services, the shared secret service and secure channel are the backbone of the NFC security. Basically, this is where all the cryptography done, encryption, and all the stuff is done here. Now, this is the important part, NFC vulnerabilities. Now we know how generally NFC works. We can address all the vulnerabilities. First of all, the eavesdropping, right? Because NFC has 2 modes, active mode and passive mode, the attacks have to be different. For the eavesdropping, for the active mode, since the signal a little bit more stronger, and the radio frequency field is generated a lot more stronger, only on one side. You can be up to 10 meters away. But in a passive mode, because there is no radio frequency field generated, you have to be 1 meter away from it in order for you to eavesdrop. But it is very, very impractical, and because you first have to match the radio frequency, and each time you try to match the radio frequency, because in active mode you already have radio frequency generated, and NFC can literally detect other radio frequency, so it will automatically stop the protocol, so it's already secure. But even if we pretend that we cannot detect the other radio frequency field, there is still secure channel which we create early on. So it is impossible to, not impossible, but it's impractical to do it eavesdropping. Data corruption. Data corruption is basically same thing as denial of service on other computers or whatever it is. You try to basically prevent information from going from this end to the other then. Same thing again. The NFC device can check So radio frequency fields, while transmitted data, as I explained earlier. So again, it will be instantly detected. And in order for you to jam the signal or basically corrupt the data, you will need to send a stronger signal. NFC signal is very weak, so it will automatically, no matter what you do, it will detect it. So again, the protocol will instantly stop, and you will know that something is wrong, somebody trying to corrupt the data. But again, if we pretend that somehow you manage to match the spectrum frequency and it's impossible to detect, again, we have a secure channel in here, so it's nearly impossible to do it as well. So it's very secure again. Next is data modification. Same as with other Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, you basically want to take the data and put something else in there. Again, NFC is very unique in terms of it has two modes, again, active mode and passive mode. In active mode, the way the encryption and data is sent is amplitude shift keying. And there are two modes. If you have less than 106 kilobaud, we use a modified Miller coding. But if it's greater than 100, we use Manchester coding, as we learned in last semester class, I remember. So there are two different codings we basically use for amplitude shift keying. While in passive mode, we use weak load modulation, and we use Manchester coding. You might be wondering why is it important, but it's very important because based on which mode you're going to be is based on how secure the data transfers work. For example, modified Miller encoding with 100% ASCII, amplitude shift keying, the attack is feasible for certain bits and impossible for other bits. I cannot get in details, but I have the paper if you would need to read it, Dr. If you would like to read Dr. Bayas, so I have it. But Manchester coding is will work almost always. You can almost always have a way to basically break the information by modulating your field and matching it. They explain it in great detail in there. So, but again, as long as we set up secure channel, there shouldn't be any problem at all. And I will explain later on why I keep on saying secure channel and it solves everything. Because in other cases, like if you have a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, just because you have secure channel doesn't mean the information should be secure. But we'll find out later on why it's actually secure. So next, data insertion. Again, same thing, only possible in cases that basically only way you can have data insertion if you send information before the other person had the chance to respond. It is very impractical because everything happened in milliseconds when you send the information inside NFC. But let's pretend you can't do it. Same thing again, there's a problem because there's overlapping going to happen and the data will have corruptions. Because at one point when active, one has active, let's say initiator is active radio frequency and the other one is passive. When I send my field is still active, another field try to intercept it, the initiation will automatically know that there's another field present. So automatically the whole protocol stops. So it's very safe. So one way to fix it is pretend that, let's pretend that somehow it's possible, it's faster response. But again, secure channel solves the problem. Later on, I'll explain why. And not even underestimate the secure channel. The problem with secure channel usually is that there is a man-in-the-middle attack, right? But we will explain why it is impossible or almost completely impossible at current state to do man-in-the-middle attack with NFC. First of all, the NFC has very, very, very short range, which is what, like we found out earlier, 2 inches, which can go up to 4 inches, which is 10 centimeters at most, but most of them are 2 inches. So you will have to be very close. Again, as I explained, 10 meters close, within 10 meter or 1 meter, depends on which mode we activate it on. So, but the moment you will try to activate your field, because if one let's say in active mode, the other one is in passive mode, like right here address, you will automatically be detected because NFC automatically detects the moment it's in active mode, other radio frequency modes present. But let's pretend again that somehow you bypass that and it's impossible to detect you. So in this case, you will block the information of one side and you try to send the other side. Okay, so you broke the you block the information from Alice to Bob, this information, and even intercepting. Alice sending a packet to Bob, you intercept it, you blocked it somehow, and the protocol didn't end. Now Alice will be waiting on the response from Bob, but Eve is the one going to be sending the message basically. But since Alice is waiting on Bob respond on the specific security thing, on the secure protocol, it will automatically be able to say that this is not the message from Eve, this is not the message from Bob. It is explained in protocol, of course, how it does. So it's impossible. In active and passive mode, it's impossible to do it. In active and active mode, it's a little bit easier, but still, at start, it's easy because, let's say, again, somehow there are not two fields, because in active and active, they both generate their fields, radio frequency fields. Eve intercept and blocks Alice in this case. So Alice doesn't know that its message Bob never received, and it does the same thing active. So Alice turns off her radio field in order to let Bob send the other message back for it. So in our case, Bob is not the one who's sending. At this point, Eve can turn on her radio frequency because there's no field at this point present, because Bob has never received the message. So it doesn't know that it has to respond. In this case, Alice waiting on data from Bob, but receive data from Eve, which will allow Alice to detect problem in the protocol. Again, same as earlier. We again have a special precautionary measure in the NFC that prevents any form of basically tampering in between. But it will never get to this case because in the first place, the disturbance in the frequency will be detected as always. So based on this, it's practically infeasible to mount a man-in-the-middle attack in real world scenario. So if you cannot mount a man-in-the-middle attack, you can easily generate a secure channel, and that's it. And there is no other way to deal with secure channel. Now, another problem that people should understand, very important, when there stays secure NFC, like secure, it doesn't mean what people think. It doesn't mean that NFC link is secure. There is more thing needs to be done. Just because NFC is secure, it doesn't mean that your data will be safe. It is very important that the application itself is also secured, like whatever the application is using. Because as we found out earlier with come on, what is it? Google Pay. Just because they use NFC, and the way I misunderstood it first before I read about NFC, I thought that it was NFC the flawed. But turns out it's nothing to do with NFC. NFC is very secure. It's on the Google Pay part. They did not store first of all, they store the credit card information as first as well, and very other important information, and they encrypt it, so it's fine. And they store it in the cloud. There's not a problem with it. But the actual passcode that you enter, the 4-digit, was stored outside the file. So it was not easily, but once you access, the way Android is set up, it's very public. Other apps can access certain information on your phone. So through certain methods, there are a few people who actually created apps, and they can instantly, in a second, the moment you change your passkey, they can literally hack and get your passkey as well. So just because NFC secure doesn't mean that other applications don't have to worry about the data, just because they're using NFC as their transfer protocol. So, all right, so here we are. Why NFC is so great, what is so good about NFC? Can do many things, many things. Sharing, pairing, and transaction. We already have many other, like we have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the other devices. So why would not use NFC? Because sharing, for example, you can read tags just like you do the QR tags. You can do many things with it, like somewhere you go in a store, right? And you quickly want some information. You don't have to search for it. Maybe on a door or somewhere there's a QR tag. You take out your phone, you hover over it, in a second you get all the information you need. A quick pamphlet, say what's on sale maybe, or anything like that. Or you want to do a few other things, like any small, get your quick news. Same thing. You hover over maybe at the quick kiosk, you hover your phone over it and you get news. And so it's very convenient instead of you have to connect to it and maybe get email and stuff like that, which takes some time. This is in a second, and it's very secure. Now, next is pairing. Pairing is like you basically connect with another phone or another computer Like we have pairing with the Wi-Fi or pairing with Bluetooth, but now you have pairing with NFC. Very straightforward. One time at the start, you basically set up your NFC. You have a small information on your data, which has your password in there or anything else. Very small code. You hover over your phone, let's say other phone or router, automatically enter the password. Or automatically sit in the car, you don't have to set up, configure start the Bluetooth, connect, and all the stuff. You hover your phone over it, again, automatically paired, very secure, safe, and in a second. Last transaction, credit and debit card. This is very big deal right now because there are multiple ways to use it, but NFC is used a lot by many. Like we see Apple Pay. What else? We have also PayPal use something similar, but credit card you can also use, but credit card choose to use something else instead. They use the European standard, EMV, whatever, the Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. The three companies came together and made, but they're also compatible with NFC, those chips. So it was pretty interesting. And again, explained by Google Wallet, why it was flawed at that time. They fixed it up later on. They moved the actual passkey inside the secure file this time, but it was too late and too many issues. You can still get Google Wallet right now, but it will come with Android Pay as well. So it's a combination of both. It's no longer just Google Wallet. And now the more secure Apple Pay is always, Apple comes up always with things later. I don't know why, but maybe they wait till they see what other things are flawed and then try to patch it up and put their stuff, you know, to look better. So, but this is what they did. They have secure element. It's a dedicated chip that stores encrypted payment information. It's a small chip on the phone, basically. And the way it stores, it does not store your card information. It uses the card private account number, which it generates. So just because somebody gets your phone, they won't be able to or intercept your data. They won't know your, okay, let's say, even if somehow somebody intercept your data, which is impossible through NFC at current point, they will still not be able to get your credit card information, none of the stuff, because all it stores is a special generated Apple ID in there. And you also use a device like each time you do transaction, you have a random generated number, which is like a passcode or whatever it is, which is used with Apple Pay, which is called dynamic secure code. And last thing, just Apple Pay is an app, right? NFC is a transfer protocol. Even if Apple Pay is very secure, as we see right now, and even if NFC is secure, they still added one more. You have to use Apple Touch ID, which uses your biometrics, your actual fingerprint. So there are layer and layer and layer of security. So in current point, it's very, very hard to do unless you literally like give away all information. That's the only way they'll probably hack into your account. So, and that is all. NFC, that is all that I had prepared for this. Any questions?
No.
Hi, Islam. That was a really nice presentation. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You told me about the secure channel, right? So, well, it's a kind of. I mean, what I'm guessing is that it would establish a secure connection to the receiver before it transmits the data. I mean, do the receiver sends any key to the sender so that the sender, uses always the key to transmit the data to the receiver?
Sorry, I couldn't hear. Okay, so you have a question about the secure channel, basically.
Yeah. So
and what is the question again? Sorry,
so
I couldn't
you said that it would establish a secure connection, right? So how does it establish any secure connection? Like receivers gives a key to the sender to use the key for every data transmission, like that.
Yeah, basically you have right here when you set up first time, right? You have two secure users. You go through the channel here, right here. Secure, service data unit is where you're gonna send this. Let me scroll down here. It's called where is it? This secret number variable. Okay. This one right here.
Okay.
It's basically not a key, but it's with each packet you're gonna have a secure number.
Okay.
They're both gonna match the first time you send.
Okay.
Because you cannot intercept the as I explained earlier, because you cannot, no way you can do manual attack or no way you can interfere with any data. You can easily send the packets as long as they encrypt it, and with minimal encryption, the way they explain it, you don't have to use any complicated like RSA and stuff like that. It could be a simple encryption, and it should be fine. The way you generate a channel just like with any other secret channels. You pass the keys to each other, and they do confirmation, acknowledgement, and you're good to go. There you go, have a secret channel.
You mean to say it's like similar to the way of like how the TCP things going on out there?
Yeah, exactly. It's very simple. You have 2 keys to generate, you send it, and you're good to go.
Okay, yeah, that's all. Thanks for that.
No problem. I mean, there is a very well explained why it doesn't work. If you want, I can guys send you the paper. It's only 11 pages long. It's pretty interesting. They explain all the why and why they say that secret channel is on NFC is so good that even if you have a breach, it will never be with the secret channel, basically.
Okay, sure.
So basically, anytime you're gonna have a problem with your app or something, and some data got lost, or basically some data been stolen, it has nothing to do with NFC. Some flaw has to be with your app, basically. The way you store information with your app.
Okay, so NFC is a perfect. I mean, it's a 100% secure way.
Yeah, almost. I say 99.999 because right now they don't have anything that says like you can.
Okay,
There's so many layers like RF field, short range. I mean, and you also generate these keys, and basically there's too many layers of protocols on top of each other that it's really hard to do anything,
Yeah, okay, got it.
Dr. Bayev, you have any question?
No questions. Just thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was interesting. First, when I started, I thought NFC was a completely different thing, but by the time I was done, I was like, oh, crap, I see. That's what it is.
All right.
All right, I guess that'll be all. Thank you. I guess I'm going to go work on the lab then.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day then.
Bye.
You too.
Yeah.